Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Communications has adopted a list of proposed names to serve on the SABC Board. This coincided with the stiff resistance from opposition parties. The list will be tabled before the National Assembly on Tuesday next week for final consideration. Our parliamentary reporter Bulelani Phillip joins us now in Cape Town. Bulelani, so just take us to today's proceedings. What exactly were some of the contentions over?
Well, good evening to you, Tsepiso, and to the viewers. Essentially, the meeting today came with the different political parties having their own lists as to their preferred candidates out of the 24 that were interviewed last week. Of course, there were two breaks where the parties were trying to fight each other, but in the end, the ANC stuck to its list and the DA stuck to its list as well as the EFF. But in the end, the ANC has actually managed to push through those names that he had brought before the committee. And those names include Mary Papaya, Yasmina Patel, Dr. Marcia Sotikwa, as well as Advocate Mamudupi Muhlala Mulaudzi, as well as Benedette Muthin, as well as Advocate Benjamin Likalakala. Professor Seth Cooper is in the mix, as well as David Maimela. So those are the names that actually have been approved by the committee. But of course, the DA and the EFF strongly opposing those names.
What is the basis of their objections?
Well, the opposition parties were saying that in this case, this is the first time that the ANC has not been able to try and reach consensus with the opposition parties. They've actually just pushed through those names without considering some of the people that were proposed by the DA. And three of those commonalities or common candidates between the EFF and the DA include Dr. Marcia Sotikwa, Nokuzola Erens, as well as Aidani Tsaisi. And the opposition parties have now said that two candidates that have been included in the list of the ANC in the name of Professor Seth Cooper as well as David Maimela are people that they will strongly oppose when this matter comes before the National Assembly on Tuesday. Over and above that, the DA is saying that it's also preparing to write to President Cyril Ramaphosa to actually also express its dissatisfaction with the inclusion of Professor
I want to zero in on those two names, Seth Cooper and David Maimela. Is it because of their political party history and their proximity to perhaps some of those that are believed to be in power?
Yes, Tsepiso, I think in the case of Professor Cooper, one of the issues that came out of the interviews was that he is actually in knowing all the presidents that have served in the country. And of course, that has raised red flags to the opposition in the fact that will he not be susceptible to political influence if he's appointed to the board? But the second thing, which is the major issue rather, is the fact that he is also accused of having led a bad management style while he was still the vice-chancellor at the University of Durban Westfield. In fact, the DA and the EFF also, pointing out that there was a report that was tabled by the higher education minister, which actually found him that he had made irregular appointments during his tenure at the time. So they are worried that, that kind of management style cannot be adopted in the struggling SABC board.
So with regards to David Maimela?
On the other hand, yes, David Maimela, you'd know that his history is that he's a former president of the student body SASCO, which is an alliance partner or PYA partner of the ANC Youth League. So the proximity of him to the politics of the ANC also makes the opposition really suspect of whether he'll be susceptible to political interference. But over and above that, the opposition has been saying that he's been openly campaigning for the ANC on his social media platforms.
Thanks a lot, Bulelani Phillip, our parliamentary reporter.